Wow, I was not expecting that at all. Where did that come from? It's a thing nowadays that there'll be a trailer that doesn't really live up to obviously what the film is in the end. You obviously have a mediocre trailer that turns into a great film. And this definitely is that case again. I really enjoyed this film, and I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do, but I think it's the best romantic comedy I've seen for at least 2 years. I mean, Great Stupid Love sort of took back the good romantic comedy standard that had been so lacking in Hollywood and just being torn away. And then we get this again, which sticks to what you want for romantic comedy. You want to be entertained, you want to laugh, you want to love these characters, and this movie does exactly everything. And everything, all those things. And what's so great about it is that it's not just a Logan Lerman movie. It's like everyone in this movie is fantastic, and I can't say, which I can't believe I'm even saying this, that he's the best part in the movie because he is great. He's always fantastic. He always gives it all. He's always giving everything he can. But I have to say, I think I loved every single character in this movie, and I loved every single performance. It didn't feel like they're just sort of throwing in things, like, oh, let's throw this character in. Like, everyone feels like really well rounded. It doesn't feel that false sense of, oh, I don't really want to care for these people, they're full of shit. It feels like you actually care now. Like, all the reasons that romantic comedies that were really bad and terrible didn't work all those years ago. Now you see something that, again, like Crazy Stupid Love, you care for these people, you find them funny, you find them interesting, and also these sort of undertone of them writing about love. It actually doesn't feel like a whole thing of, oh, Hollywood's just, oh, look at them, they're trying to make you feel something of, oh, look, they're writing about. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like it all connects and it all sends a nice message in the end that, love should be found, and it shouldn't have to be cynical and shouldn't have to be sort of blown up as this big atmosphere of, oh, I'm dating some douchebag who's a da da and all this, but we have some sort of love, but there's not really anything there. Everyone, like all the little stories of, oh, that person love, it all connects well. And it's not like an overload of, oh, well, there's too many stories going on. It actually feels like you actually understand where everything's going, and it all connects up to, oh, yes, that person with that person. And obviously the daughter, Lily Collins, fantastic. I think she's great in the movie. And you see quite a lot of her. I mean, her and Greg Kinnear are like really, like, you see loads of them. Especially the guy who plays Rusty. I mean, I'd never seen him before, but he was really great. And I don't mean just great; he was really great. And it was just really emotional. And I don't say this generally about romantic comedies because they just stink generally, but it felt like it really worked. I mean, like stuff you see in the beginning of the movie, it like ends on something, like connects up with like an end scene. I don't really want to spoil it because I could, but I won't. Um, but it feels like it all comes together, and it doesn't feel forced or phony or like, oh, for God's sake, this is crap. It's great. It's a really great romantic comedy, and it was funny. But I feel like it was funny, and there were quite a lot of funny moments in it. But it felt like they more like tuned in or like homed in on the sort of like emotional, romantic kind of emotion, like feeling, and it didn't feel like you were bored or force fed some sort of leftover crap. I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, it's great. And I really wasn't expecting that at all. I mean, wow. I mean, when still kind of wondering where that came from. It was so great. And it is obviously a 92 minute obviously movie, but it doesn't really matter. It's only 92 minutes long because you actually feel like you get a whole story, and it feels like, in a way, they say about they write these books and write stories, but you feel like you're actually in a story, which is quite cool and understated, but has loads of things to say. Like, obviously, there's scenes where, like, it's understated, and then like, you have like characters not really saying anything. When obviously there's like an emotional, like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that, or why did he say that? But then they don't really say anything. Because, like, it's like understated, but it works. And it just sort of the whole tone of it feels like understated that people want to find love and want to have something in their lives, want to have things going on, and obviously Lily Collins don't really give a crap about being with anyone, and Logan Lerman's trying really like hard just to be friends, and then she just feels like like, get away, you're hitting on me, you stupid boy. And she's being rather horrible, but it feels like when you watch the movie that obviously there's some characters who have really bad flaws, like, but then they sort of redeem themselves by the end, and some don't. But I'm not going to say who that one person, who that some was, because that'll spoil the movie. But Logan Lerman, I love Logan Lerman as much as the next person. I think he is just a fantastic screen presence anytime he's ever like in a movie. And what I like about this movie is like his character doesn't feel like it's like the same sort of thing of being thrown at. He's been in quite a lot of movies now, and obviously Perks Being Wallflower, completely different character. My one and only, completely different character. And Free Ten Humor, completely different. They're all completely different characters, which I think is so great because you don't feel like you're doing the same thing again. And obviously that's happened with some actors, and it gets quite annoying. But not with him. And it also feels like Greg Kinnear, like he obviously has flaws again, but you feel like he is obviously doing bad things, like not so good. But then you feel like you understand that you feel sympathy for him, and he's like going through a hard time, like going over to where the ex-wife lives and looking in on obviously her new life that he's not a part of, and feeling like, oh, you horrible person, you know what you did, and all that, and I mean all that makes sense. But then you think, yeah, but I wouldn't be staring at in somebody's window, probably be kept up inside. Um, but yeah, just a great movie. I don't know what more to say really. I mean, I think I have to mention Rusty before this review finishes. Rusty's fantastic little character. I mean, he's just, I mean, a little in terms of he's like a little thing that you see at the beginning of the movie, and then he just sort of like explodes into this like quite like, hey, I like this guy, and then he's like a really great screen presence to have in the movie, and he like I've never seen this guy before, and you think, hey, I've never seen this person before. Like maybe they're not really got that much ability. You don't know how much ability they have when you first see someone on screen. But I think sometimes that's also the best thing, the way that you get somebody who obviously don't really know anything about, don't know what they do, but they do it great. They do it great, and he definitely does it great. And I really enjoyed his character. It felt kind of like obviously you knew things were going to happen, but some things didn't really go the way I was expecting them to happen. Does that make sense? And he sort of took things to a different level. That if you gave this role to somebody like, well, I don't know, I don't know who to really say, but if you gave it to somebody who wasn't really that good of an actor and just sort of messed it all up, and I can't really think of an example right now, but there are some people who just annoy the hell out of me. Like Ashton Kutcher can't really act at all. He's just a woman prodder of like, I don't know if woman prodder is the right example, but like, or the word right saying, but he just, that movie, The Boat That Rocked, where there's loads of women all in a secluded place, and they're all naked and enjoying this guy's company. That's what Ashton Kutcher to this me when I see him in a movie. Like he just there's no actor there. It's just he's just somebody. Some girls are gonna flock off to some place and do some things to him. He doesn't have anything. So if he did this role, and it obviously go back quite a long time, obviously because if he was younger, then I still think he wouldn't do it justice. And because I don't see the romantic comedy side of him at all. Because when there was that no strings attached, it was just so obviously trying to be refined in summer and failing so badly. Maybe that's why I have such a big thing against him. I don't know, but that did annoy me. He obviously was good in Butterfly Effect, but I haven't really seen lots of great acting from him. If I'm honest, he can be good on the off chance he can be great, but when he's in this whole mainstream stuff like Killers, which was garbage. I feel like I'm going off on a complete different tangent here. Um, but yeah, so a really great movie, really great time. I think people who weren't expecting to really like this will really end up liking this, like me. So I say give Stuck in Love a chance because I'm stuck in love with this movie. I know it might sound a bit corny, but hey, I really like this movie. 9 out of 10 from me.